PlayStation VR steps its game up. All I have to say is it's about time. And of course, we have much more than that. 343 Industries, the people behind Halo Infinite, delaying Halo Infinite until 2021. Also, not only them, but Cyberpunk 2077 is also delayed. Plus my thoughts and opinions on some of the things that's going on in the world of gaming. And we've got a couple of trailer reviews. You guys ready? Platform Gamer Podcast starts right now. Hello, everybody. What's going on? This is your boy, Desmond Dukes, and thank you so much for joining me here on the podcast today. Make sure if you are watching on YouTube to subscribe to the channel, turn on that bell for all notifications, and smash that like button. And speaking of likes, go on our Facebook page at Platform Gamer Podcast, where you can like and follow us of where we go. And speaking of following, you can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Platform Gamer P1. So, with all of that out of the way, let's kick things right into gear here. Our first story that we want to talk about is, of course, PlayStation VR. Now, everybody knows that PlayStation VR has been a huge topic going on for quite some time, and it has sold well over 5 million units. That's more than Oculus. That's more than the Vive, the HTC, which I'm assuming is not going to be around for too much longer. But nevertheless, its biggest rivalry competitor is Oculus. So with that in mind, we have, of course, the PlayStation VR is finally getting games that we really want to play. And they're not like experience games or games that just give you a little tease, a little sample of what could potentially happen. Now we're getting fully fledged games. And this is a wonderful thing, because when you look at the landscape of how the PlayStation VR has been lately, it has lacked in really big game star quality. And we're finally going to start seeing those. And that is going to be a huge thing going in to 2020 and 2021. Well, in 2020 going into 2021. So the first one that is already out, naturally, of course, that a lot of people have been playing, including myself, is the Iron Man VR. Now, Iron Man VR is really cool, because with that game, you can actually go in and you're basically Tony Stark, and you get to fly around using the motion controllers. You can fly around, and everything you do, you treat it like you're in a real suit. So you're flying around, you're shooting stuff while you're flying, you're landing on the ground, you're running, you're doing all kinds of stuff with this. Now, I will say there is a learning curve to this game as far as the being in the suit and learning how to fly and everything. And you can punch and all kinds of stuff, but there is a learning curve to this, which is fine. I mean, that's what you kind of expect with something like that, but it's really good. Once you get it down, it is so fun. And that game is currently available right now, and you can get it in standard or deluxe edition. The standard is going, I believe, for $39.99, and the deluxe edition is going for $49.99. So that's a great grab right there. And again, that's a big name title. It's not like we're going to give you the experience of doing one level and then that's it. So if you want to check this game out for yourself, you can purchase it, or you can download the demo right now. As you play the demo, you'll kind of get a feel for the game and see if it's something that's for you. Now, keep in mind, again, when it comes to PlayStation VR, if you are extremely new to VR in general, I highly suggest not this game, but I highly suggest games that will make sure that you get accustomed to viewing it and being in it, because if you go into a game with a whole lot of motion, it's not going to do you any good, because you're going to get motion sickness. You're going to be lightheaded. You're going to feel like you got to throw up. It's all kinds of things. So you'll have hot flashes. So you want to start off on something with like still images in a sense. So that's where you want to go, because you don't want to jump into it right away. And of course, there are some bigger name ones that are coming out as well. We're talking about Star Wars Squadrons. Now, Star Wars Squadrons is basically, now if you remember from Star Wars Battlefront, the first one, they dropped the one mission, the one VR mission where you're in an X-Wing, and people got super excited for that. Like, we want to play this. This is what we want. And for a while now, you know, EA Sports just did not give it to us. Now, I don't know if they were just working on it at the time and kind of kept it under wraps, but they had done that. And then Battlefront 2 came out, and people wanted that VR experience of being in an X-Wing, you know, and that's a huge thing. Well, now Star Wars Squadrons gives you that ability. And on top of that, you can play with other friends as well. So you're not up there alone trying to fight a whole squadron of TIE fighters, and it's just you. So you will have help. You can talk to your friends. You can do, you know, more of the online stuff. I'm sure there'll be a multiplayer mode, but I'm sure there's also going to be a co-op mode for the single player, which would be really, really awesome, especially for a game like that. And Star Wars Squadrons is something that I'm looking forward to. Now, I haven't seen any actual gameplay footage. I've only seen like the trailer that's got some images that would make you think this is kind of what it's going to look like. And it does have a story mode to it. So I'm kind of reserving my reservations on this game as far as like the hypeness for it. I'm going to reserve myself to it until the actual game play is displayed, whether it's in a trailer or another teaser or whatever. You know, give me some gameplay footage. That's what I want to see. Something to make me be like, I need to get a PlayStation VR just for that game. Now, I already have one, so I'm going to enjoy it nevertheless. But that's Star Wars Squadron in a nutshell for you. Super excited. That's going to be a fun one. Another big Star Wars game that actually came out for the Oculus that will soon be available on the 25th of August. It's called Star Wars Vader Immortal. And that one is one that people have been waiting for too. Now, of course, the current date right now is August 15th of 2020. So we've only got 10 more days, and then this game will be released. But Star Wars Vader Immortal is basically you get to play the role of either a Sith Lord or a Jedi. And in the VR mode, you can actually use a lightsaber. You can do force attacks, you know, force moves, all these different intricate things that you can do in this game. You know, deflect, you know, blaster fire, you know, go against other Jedis. You actually have to parry and block in this game. So it's been a long time coming. It's been released for the Oculus Rift for some time now. And now PlayStation VR is finally getting it. And that's an exciting thing. Another game that's currently out that also has somewhat of a sequel coming out to that is The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Now, Saints and Sinners is really good because it's by the company Survivor or Survivor, something like that. But they're very good at VR. Now, they've done some other VR games before, and they're a top quality developer. So that's one to look out for. And then you play as a character where you can use, little knives and axes and guns and all kinds of things to kind of make your way through the hordes of the dead. So that is a really, really fun game. And you don't get to play, as far as I know, you don't get to play as any of the main characters. You're kind of like, like this made up side character. But they do have a somewhat of a sequel one coming out. But like I said, Saints and Sinners, another big name title that I'm looking forward to. That should be really, really awesome. And then the one that's coming after that is Walking Dead Onslaught. Now, in the Onslaught, you actually get to be one of the main characters from the show. So that's really cool in its own right. And then it's basically almost has the same premise as Saints and Sinners, but you get more to work with. You're in new environments. You're dealing with new obstacles. And, they've added some things to it that will make the game really, really interesting. Now, Onslaught, I do believe, is planning on being released, I believe, in September, but I'm not fully for sure. I haven't heard too much on the release date, but I know it is coming soon. So that is definitely one to look forward to. Now, one that I'm kind of excited for that kind of really perked my interest is one that is called Solaris. Off-World Combat. Now, Solaris Off-World Combat is one that I really, really been wanting to pay attention to because it's done by First Contact, which is the same company that did my personal favorite game, Firewall Zero Hour. So they've come out with something that's going to be like that, where you're immersed in this world where you get to do some tactical stuff, but it's more sci-fi futuristic. So this one is going to be kind of an interesting take, and they really emphasized, according to the behind the scenes video, in the immersion aspect, feeling like you're actually in that world, just as well as you did in Firewall, except better. So that's one that's going to be really, really interesting to check out. So I definitely look forward to that. No release date as of yet, but my go-to right there. I think that's when it'll be released. The holiday season for VR is looking pretty good. I mean, even in some that's coming out in later 2021, whether it's, early part of around, launch time of PlayStation 5, which will be like, it's still in that window in January. So at January and then probably halfway through February. So it's still within that window. So if it comes, there's so many different games, so many different things that's coming out that we can really, really get excited for. So good things are coming. Good things are going to continue to come. There's probably 5 or 6 games that I'm sure I'm missing, but this is a testament to how good this is going to be. So yeah, to our next one, which it is what it is. Halo Infinite has been now delayed. That announcement was made by 343 Industries just recently. So you get to check things out. And it's one of those things where you're just like, okay, I get it. I get why they did it. But 343 Studios put out a tweet explaining the delay, and that when it first was displayed at the last Xbox event showcase, first one they showed right out the gate was Halo Infinite, and it got mixed reviews. Some people thought, okay, it's good, but then you had some of the game for like Halo 3 or something. So they recognized this, and I thought it was okay. The biggest takeaway from it was that you didn't get that wow factor. Like this is the game for everybody on Xbox Game Pass. They've already established that, and it would be playable like on Xbox One, and and stuff like that. So the fact that they're now having to go back because they want to make some changes to it. So, and I'm assuming one of those big changes is probably wanting to beef up the graphics and beef up some of the gameplay, which is great because that gives you an opportunity to, when it comes out, it's not going to be crap. You know, you want this thing as perfect as you could possibly make it. So it's a true thing to have, knowing that it would go out like that and come back. Now it's slated now, its release date is in 2021. No, actually, that it has been delayed until 2021. So, but this is still great news because now you're going to get an even better quality product. You're not going to sit back and be like, oh, they just delayed it to make, a few changes here and there. I think they're going to do now to give it that next gen feel, that next gen look. So that right there is a testament to some of the things that Halo needs to do. Speaking of it, is Cyberpunk 2077. Now, I've checked out Cyberpunk 2077 way back in the day. They showed kind of, someone explaining the game as it's being played. The game looks so good and so phenomenal and so lifelike to certain situations and how this world just feeds 2077. But the company that made it had melee gameplay and some of the combat right. They feel that it's not up to where they want it to be, so they're going to delay it so they can work on those things. Now, whether that gets pushed to 2021 or it'll still be able to come out sometime this holiday season, we don't know. We just know that it was delayed. They never gave a timetable, but its original release was scheduled for November 19th. Now, with this delay, it could be, closer to Christmas, depending on how much of that work still needs to be done. I don't think it's going to be a lot, but they may just want to push closer to Christmas. That's kind of my prediction. So if that happens, then that would still meet that window of where it wants to be. Now, Cyberpunk 2077 will be released on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and Xbox One, plus PC. So for all you PC guys, it's definitely going to take advantage of your hardware power in your PC, depending on how well your PC holds up. But this is not disappointing news, but this is like Halo. This is great news because now, again, you're going to get a quality product. So when it's released, it's perfect. It's not all buggy. It doesn't have, gameplay issues, nothing like that. So, good for these companies for doing that because some of them will just rush a game out and then the game comes out and it's crap. And I'm sorry, if you're going to give me a AAA title, it better not be crap. So that's my stance on that. So good for them. Now, with a lot of those stories out the way, let's play a little game, shall we? Let's play a little game called What If? Now, I like trying to do something different and something exciting. So I'm going to throw some what ifs at you. You guys can comment down below if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. Please leave a comment down below and let me know what you think of everything that I'm about to say. And in general, if you enjoy this podcast so far, also leave a comment. Let us know what you think because we love comments here. Whether they're good or bad, you want to critique us, whatever. It's good to hear from, the audience, the fans that want to really be invested in what we're trying to do here. So let's talk about what ifs. My first what if. Everybody has played, or at least the majority of us have played Metroid on every Nintendo platform that has ever been out on, whether it's regular Nintendo, Super Nintendo. I think the only Nintendo console that it did not come out on is Nintendo 64. I think that's the only one that we did not get a Metroid game. I do believe. I might be wrong. Let me know in the comments section. But yeah, one came out. A couple of them came out for GameCube, which were probably some of my favorites. So with that in mind, what if they took, let's say Metroid Prime. We'll take Metroid Prime, the first Metroid Prime. Okay. What if Nintendo got into a situation where they could still be the console company, but then put out the games on other platforms. Think about this. Nintendo still will have full rights to their console market and the games market with what they bring out. They can give a certain percentage will go to those other companies, you know, for distributing it onto their platforms and their consoles. But Nintendo would want, you know, the biggest piece of the pie. So, you know, let's say, you know, they put it on Xbox. Okay. Now Xbox players get to check it out, you know, especially fans of the series in general. They could take that, mold that into something. But if they took Metroid Prime and re-innovated it, remastered it, gave it that next gen feel and look, I think that would be awesome. I think that would be awesome. And this is one that I would really like to see. Do a Metroid Prime, but have it use the Unreal 5 engine to really maximize the power and the graphical capability of Metroid Prime. Can you imagine that? What if Nintendo did that? Took Metroid Prime, completely reinvented it, and used the Unreal 5 engine. Now, if any of you have seen the Unreal 5 engine showcase where they used the demo game that they created, which is not a real game, it's just a demo game to kind of show off the graphical capability of the Unreal Engine 5 by Epic Games. Imagine something like that, having it look like that, if not better. And they put that in Metroid. Take it one step further. They bring it out for PlayStation, the VR2. PlayStation's VR2. Make that not a launch title, but one of the big AAA titles for the PlayStation VR2. Can you imagine that? Can you seriously imagine that? That would be unquestionably fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And you can maximize profits in Nintendo's favor. So Nintendo would make an even bigger profit than what they're already making, which they're all about innovation anyway. Why don't they take that leap? Go the route of Sega without having to compromise giving up their console. Now, I personally think they should just get out of the whole console thing altogether and do what Sega did and just make games. And that's it. I think they would do just as well just making games than they would making console and games. But nevertheless, I'm trying to think about the Nintendo consumer who's you know still a huge fan. So you could still get something like that on, let's say, Nintendo's next big console, and they did something like that. That would be epic. That would be absolutely epic. And then in Sony's VR, that would be fantastic. Just to put that thing on and just look at the realisticness that would be going on in that game. Still having to hold your arm out to be Samus. And you're going through all these different worlds and you're flying your ship and, you know, having to turn into a ball and roll. And just the possibilities for that game on PlayStation VR would be absolutely mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. And I think for Nintendo, this would be a missed opportunity for them. Now, granted, they're going to do their own thing anyway, and especially with what happened to them and Sony many years ago when the original PlayStation was Sony was actually looking at linking up with Nintendo to create the first CD system. Nintendo decided to go their own route as they were like going through the final stages of negotiation and basically felt that Sony got screwed. So I think this will be a good way to make amends. And for two, both companies would make a profit. Nintendo would make a bigger profit, obviously, but even Sony with that game, they could make a nice small profit off of something like that. Because who wouldn't want to get a VR for Metroid? Who would not want to get a VR for Metroid like that? And I think that would be something to look forward to. Next, what if? Okay, the next what if. Now I'm just going by right now. I'm just going by Nintendo titles, just Nintendo titles that could potentially be on other consoles. Take a Legend of Zelda. I think if Nintendo will never give away a lot of their big titles, but just certain ones. I'm not saying put Mario on Sony or Xbox because that people would look at that as blasphemy. So we're not even going to go there. But games like Metroid, games like The Legend of Zelda, F-Zero, Star Fox, Kirby, those are games that could transcend. Even Pokemon, I think, would be a great, like an RPG thing where you can make it cross-platform across all consoles and handhelds or whatever, but mainly across all consoles, including PC. Nintendo is missing out on a lot of opportunities to be in that upper echelon of saying, we are the dominant force profit-wise. Because right now, yeah, they're making really strong profits. They are. But when it comes to just console innovation, as far as the games go, Nintendo is behind the 8 ball. Their games are innovative. They're super fun. People still love them. But everybody wants to see Nintendo be more like Sony and Xbox with their games. Just take it to that next level. Not get ports, but just take their games to that next level. Now, Nintendo has started to do that with some of their games right now, but it's a testament. And going back to what I was saying about Legend of Zelda, I kind of got a little off track. But Legend of Zelda, give it that open world RPG style of Zelda, where you can meld pretty much different things from The Legend of Zelda and Link and all that, and put that into one thing, put it out on other consoles. So now you've increased your fan base by Link being on other consoles. Just the announcement of Nintendo taking Link and putting them on another console, that will send shockwaves throughout the gaming industry. Nobody, especially if they do it when nobody saw it coming. I think that would be, again, another testament to Nintendo on wanting to be innovative and do things with other players. So that's, or with other, linking up with their competitors. And Nintendo really doesn't even look at it as competitors. And this whole console war thing, yeah, that's long gone. There's no longer console wars because everybody's gonna have games that the other one just can't have for the most part. But there's always those certain ones that you're like, I would like to play that on my console. That's not a Nintendo. So, yeah. And Star Fox, oh, come on. Star Fox, you can give us the best of both worlds with that one. You can give us the graphical nature of the PlayStation adventure style, that they have, kind of like, Uncharted or something like that, futuristic. There's great storytelling too that you can tell with The Legend of Zelda and Star Fox and Metroid. There's so much story that you could tell in those particular ones. And F-Zero, I mean, you could do that. F-Zero would be really cool, but I think right now with Sony having Wipeout, I think in that regard, I think they're good. So F-Zero could basically stay on Nintendo. But I mean, that's just a few of my what ifs. Now, take Pokemon. Pokemon is still huge. It may not seem like it, but it's still a really, really huge game. They could do that not like Fortnite, but do it in the sense that it's cross-platform, where you can challenge other players and their monsters against, or I should say, their Pokemon against your Pokemon, almost in a game of chess kind of thing. I think that would be really awesome for anybody that's a fan of Pokemon. So there's so many things that you can do. So those are my what ifs just from Nintendo side, stepping out of their little comfort zone and doing something outside the box, especially with some of their bigger name franchises. I think they could do very, very well. I mean, if you look at it, Castlevania really is not their title, but if you look at Castlevania and Final Fantasy, they have become huge on PlayStation. So why not give games like a Metroid or a Legend of Zelda or Star Fox and a Pokemon? Give those a shot on other consoles, even if it's the only time you ever do it. That's all it takes is one time. Crash Bandicoot, which is a Nintendo, or not a Nintendo, but a Sony product, is going to be on Xbox. So that right there tells you it is possible. I don't know. I mean, you guys may have other games that you're thinking of that's on Nintendo that you would like to see on other consoles, or other consoles that you'd like to see on Nintendo. You guys comment down below and let me know your thoughts on that. But those are my what ifs for that. And a what ifs will be a normal thing that we'll have on here where we kind of, play fantasy gaming, or fantasy developing in a sense. So, something that would be fun to do and just kind of, just throw some things out there that we think would be very, very interesting. So, it is now time for gameplay or game trailer reviews. I did get a chance to check out some of the new game trailers that is coming out, including the new Walking Dead Onslaught. That was one of them that I checked out. And then, of course, I checked out Far Cry 6, which I'm really excited for because I really enjoyed Far Cry 5. Actually, I enjoyed the last 3 Far Cry games. But, Far Cry is a big one. And that's really awesome stuff. So I like the trailer for Walking Dead Onslaught. I really, really enjoyed it. Sorry, I kind of just went all over the place. I do that sometimes. I'm sorry. Trying to stay more focused to just one thing. So Walking Dead Onslaught. It'll play a lot like Saints and Sinners in that sense. So I'm not too worried about that. Game-wise, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty solid. I really liked where the intro started off having, being narrated by Daryl, which is pretty cool because that's a lot of people's favorite character in the show. And so now you're getting to play as all of these different characters throughout the show. Now, what would be cool is you had somebody like Shane. He would be pretty cool on there. I don't think he's on there, obviously, but I think he would be like a cool little downloaded extra that they could add on later. And then some of the other main characters who have died, and you can throw them in. But what I like that I'm seeing from Onslaught is that each character is going to feel different versus Saints and Sinners, where you're basically one character and you're going through stuff. But in this one, you get to play as different characters and you have different skill sets, different weapons you could use. You could be better with one weapon than you are with another. I mean, they really added some depth to it as far as gameplay goes. Graphically, like I said, it looked good. It looked good. It's a VR game. The problem is that PlayStation VR doesn't have HD support, so you're not getting that true graphical look that it could take advantage of. But we all understand it. It was Sony's first venture. It's something new for them. They didn't want to take the risk and go all out, so they kind of took away the high definition portion of it and made it work with what they got. Now, Xbox showed one that I saw the trailer for called The Medium. Now, The Medium is really cool because you basically play as this character and you're trapped between two different worlds that is happening simultaneously, which is really, really interesting. And it's really, really sparked my interest for this game. I mean, this game looks phenomenal graphically. It looks really, really good. But the medium, like I said, you play as a character. It kind of has that feel that's kind of like a mix of Silent Hill with Siren, I guess. That's kind of what it feels like, where you could be in different worlds. And I don't know if you can choose between these worlds or something has to happen for you to be from one world and then transfer into the other simultaneously. I'm not sure. But either way, everything looks really, really good. And that's probably one of my most anticipated for the Xbox Series X. So the medium looks great. Can't say a lot of negative things about it. But that trailer looked really, really good. Next trailer that I want to talk about is one that's also on Xbox Series X, which is called Crossfire. Crossfire reminds me a lot of the new Medal of Honor. Actually, no, it felt more like SOCOM and Call of Duty put together. That's kind of what it felt like. So what was interesting about Crossfire was that I think you can play as different characters, but from what they showed in the trailer, you play as one character. So then you're doing like, you've got the little squirrel type suit and you're flying across the air, across mountains and stuff to get to your location. You're in helicopters, you're driving in cars. You've got all these different type of weapons that you can use. It looks really, really good. So my only fear from this trailer was that it felt too much like Call of Duty. So I'm worried it's going to be like a ripoff of Call of Duty. I think that's my only concern. But for what that looked really good. That looked really good. And that's one that I'm definitely looking forward to. You guys let me know in the comments below what you guys think of these games as well. And I will have links to those trailers in the description down below once I get them. So anyway, that's pretty much all I got for now. Thank you guys so much for checking out this premiere episode of Platform Gamer Podcast. My brother couldn't be here. He was supposed to be here, but he had to work and had some other obligations. So I told him I'll do this first one on my own, but he's got to be with me on the next one because I got to have something to bounce some stuff off of. Otherwise, it's going to be short 30-minute videos the whole time. But thank you guys so much again. Again, if you liked what you heard today, please subscribe to our Platform Gamer Podcast channel right here on YouTube. And you can also like us also on Facebook. Smash that like button here and turn on that bell for all notifications so you're notified of all information. And you can keep up with us on any other smaller news bits and rumors and reviews and things that pop up through our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages. Now, Twitter and Instagram, you can find us on both of those at Platform Gamer P1 and on Facebook at facebook.com/Platform Gamer Podcast. Whew. Well, this was certainly exciting. Once again, I'd like to thank you all for joining us in our first episode. Greatly appreciate it. Well, joining me anyway. So again, leave a comment below and let me know what you think. And we will see you guys the next time where we will have more news, rumors, and reviews and things to discuss on our next show. Take care. Have a good night.